Okay, so we'll recap on the Man City game then, Paul, if we could.
Yeah, so as we were saying, it was literally a game of two halves. First half, the golfing class was there for us all to see, obviously. You know, I did say that, you know, Kevin De Bruyne on his own is probably worth more than our whole club and squad put together. That's a reality. And, you know, thankfully, they took him off in the second half and Diaz for a couple of kids and went down a few gears at 3-0. So, you know, but credit to us, though. You know, Roberts came on and played really well. And you know, we coped with what they had because they still had quality on the pitch in the second half, and we coped with it much better in the second half. But, you know, it was just going to be an experience, and I'm hoping that from that experience we can take it forward into the league now and take some positives from it after, you know, sharing the pitch with players like that and try and pick up some form in the league and start to climb up the table.
Got to do something. There's a lot of people moaning out there, kid.
Yeah. I know. Yeah,
carry on, Mark, please, Lee.
No, I was going to say it's round about this time last year. We went on a bit of an unbeaten run with Pep, so it can be done, you know.
Yeah.
As poor as last season was, we still went on that, was it 12 games, 13 games?
Yeah.
So who's to say we won't do that again?
For Karanka at the minute, because like his head's up his backside at the minute, isn't it? No, I mean, like, look, I don't want to disrespect the bloke because I never disrespect a Birmingham City manager until such time as they've gone. Yeah. But the poor bloke looks beaten. He looks downtrodden at the minute.
I just hope that we can get some players in this window to improve us, especially in the forward areas.
Well, we know where we will, don't we? And you know, on one of the other Facebook pages today, somebody said, you know, what do we have to do? I said, it's basics. Go back to basics. 4-4-2. That's what we are. Yeah. Basics, and you know.
It doesn't matter what we try, though. It just doesn't seem to work, does it? Doesn't matter who we've got as manager. I mean, Karanka is no mug, is he? He's
not.
He's come in.
World's best memory, Paul. So what formation did we play against Reading?
What would I play, or what do I think we'll play?
What did we play when we beat Reading?
It's
we played
4-4-2.
Oh, sorry. When we beat Reading at Reading, we played 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
And we had Hogan up front, and I think Lecco was on the left, and Sanchez was on the right, and John Terrell was in the number 10. We had Sunic and Cliftonveld holding with back four.
Yeah. You're different from Saturday then.
Yeah, it was the same formation Saturday. First half, second half, we went with three at the back, didn't we? But Roberts on for Hogan.
Yeah.
But I think he likes to play the 4-2-3-1. But you've got to have the right personnel. I mean, Nicky, have you played in a 4-2-3-1, mate, as the lone striker?
I have. But do you know what? And listening to you know, you talk about what formation should we play and what formation did they play then and that. You know, do you know what? I think that the greatest managers that I've played under are the ones that just simplify it. Yeah, for us players as well. But, you know, a player wants simple instructions to follow and we want a simple blueprint. Whatever that club ethos is, whether it is the pass, or whether you're going route one, you know, I'm not going to argue one or the other. But what I'm saying is players want simplified instructions. So to keep tinkering with systems, especially when your form is not great, I sometimes think is not the way to do it. Go back to whatever your ethos is, whatever your basic is, and start from there. The answer is I did play up front. Probably my most productive time was when I played for Reading up front on my own, and it favoured me because I was quick and I could exploit spaces. The other thing was when there's only one striker and you're playing up against two centre halves, if I just peeled off in between the pair of them, very often neither knew which one was, you know, who's got him. Have you got him or have I got him? And sometimes that moment where they're not sure which one of the centre halves are picking me up, I can make my move. Do you know what I mean? So I liked playing that lone role. Having said that, the game's different now, and I don't know whether that. I don't know whether you can do that. I do think that number, that out and out up front player with that number 10 behind them does work, but you've got to have wide, you've got to have width. You know,
I mean, at the start of
some wide players.
At the beginning of the season, I was thinking, right, okay, I can see what our identity is here. We're defensive. We're very defensive, but we're hard to break down. You know, it's hard to score against us. And we're going to pick people off on the break and maybe get a goal off a set piece. But now we've lost it all. We haven't, you know, we're very weak defensively now, certainly over the last sort of half a dozen games. And, you know, we're not scoring many goals. So we haven't really got an identity anymore. So like Nick's just said, we need to go back to the drawing board and try and, you know, re-find a different identity and a way of playing completely.
I mean, the only thing I'd say to that, looking from the outside...
Oh, sorry, Nicky, go on.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say to that, looking from the outside, is that if you're going to play that game where you sit back, you hit them either on the counter attack. I mean, and Mourinho is the best at it, and you know, he is fantastic at setting teams up to actually thwart that and stop people actually penetrating them and scoring. But the moment someone scores against you, you've got to change your whole thing, then, haven't you? You've got to come out and you've got to play. So that's only effective if you can keep clean sheets. And if you're letting in goals, like, I mean, look at the goal difference of Birmingham at the moment. It's right down at the bottom, isn't it? It's bottom six.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we need to try and get the confidence back in the players and the belief, because we've all seen them play a lot better than what they have been lately. And it's just all about trying to get the best out of them. You know, when they go out onto that pitch, they've got to know and believe that they can get a result for us. And I believe that they can do it in time. And I believe that Karanka can turn it round given the time. But, you know, it is starting to get a little bit, you know, like Groundhog Day now, every match day. And I'm not including Sunday. I'm not including yesterday. I'm talking more in the league lately. You know, I'm hoping moving forwards now, you know, we can start to pick a bit of confidence up and just try and get a bit more belief in the players that they can actually go out there and get results for us.
The problem is as well, we're parking the bus, but we're leaving the keys in the ignition.
That's a great analogy.
But, you know, it's just both ends of the pitch. It's not a good recipe at all. No. And sadly, I think that's our level. At the minute, we are a bottom six side. As much as we don't like being down there with, you know, no disrespect to the Wickhams and then the Coventrys and so on, that's our level at the minute.
Yeah, but we've got players who have played at a high level, and that's the frustrating thing. And a manager there. We've got a manager there that's got, you know, one playoff final and a promotion on his CV from this division, and that's the other frustrating thing. I think, you know, expectations were very high when he first came through the door, and he hasn't got a magic wand. He hasn't got a magic wand, has he? He's not going to do it He's not going to do it in 6 months. No.
And then we've got the rumours of it. You know, Hogan at half time refusing to play.
What's going on there?
I don't know how true it is, but I can understand his frustrations. I mean, Nicky, obviously as a striker yourself, if you're up there, you're isolated, you're not getting any service. Have you experienced that yourself in your career?
I wasn't aware of the story. So what's he actually?
Apparently, Hogan and Karanka fell out in the dressing room at half time, and he refused to play in the second half. I don't know how true it is.
I think any player refusing to play is the beginning of the end. You know, I think it's hard to build a bridge from that point. So, you know, from the outside, I've no idea. I don't know Hogan. He's I know of him, obviously, from his previous club. But I would like to think that he hasn't said that, because as a professional, you're paid to be out there. You get out there and play. I mean, I didn't like playing out on the right-hand side. I wanted to play up front, through the middle, and be sort of central as a striker. But if I was asked to play on the right, I play on the right. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How long, Paul, would you sit in a restaurant and wait for your food with no service?
Yeah.
It's
not long.
So if he's getting no service, right? I get him kicking off, to be honest with you, because I think you know, the gaffer's got to turn around and say, "Well, look, I've got to listen to you, lads." You know what I mean? You're the guys out there doing this.
Sounds like a build-up of frustration, isn't it? It's just exploded in some form or another. How severe that is and how easy that bridge is to build, you'll find out over the next 2 or 3 weeks, won't you? I mean, if he plays on Saturday, you know it's all done and it's fine. If he doesn't kick a ball for 3 weeks, or you see him, you know, in the papers training with the reserves or playing for the under 21s or something, then you know there's more of a problem here.
I think he scored against Bournemouth at home, and it was a goal, you know, to make it 3-1 to them. You know, and then he got pulled off straight away after he scored. And since then, his body language to me, he's looked frustrated up there on his own. You know, he plays through the middle on his own, and he's starved of service. I'm not going to lie. You know, he touches the ball a few times a game if he's lucky, and that's just because, you know, we're not playing. We're playing far too defensive for him.
Did you see, Paul, what the Marine manager did last night?
No.
Was it 4-0 down? Yeah. Last 10 minutes of the game, took a defender off and put a striker on.
Yeah,
fair play.
They're going to lose the game.
He was trying to nick it 5-4.
But go on, lad. Just go and see if you can net one. Just go and make a name for yourself. See if you can pop one in.
Yeah.
You know. That's brilliant man management. That is.
Yeah. So I certainly hope that things can turn around for us, you know, because it has been it's been a frustrating 10 years since we were relegated now, hasn't it? You know, we've had how many good seasons have we had in the last 10? I mean, I enjoyed the one with Chris Hughton and I enjoyed the one with Gary Murray.
Yeah. Few and far between, aren't they?
A couple with Rabbit as well. When we finished halfway, we're okay. But other than that, we've been having last day relegation dramas. You know, so yeah.
We love it though.
Yeah, I know it's strange really because those first few years, you know, those first few seasons, we actually called them the glory years. You know, so it just goes to show how bad our past has been, really. Apart from the 2 Wembley trips,
and since we won that Carling Cup final, we've been relegated. The owner's been thrown into prison. The stadium's now falling down allegedly, or somebody's put the roof on the wrong way around.
Yeah, it's still funny, that is.
Yeah. And people are saying we're being asset stripped and one thing and another. Like, if you can't manage the club, sell the club, go, let's get some new owners in and let's start all over again, and it's going to take another 10 years. And I probably won't be here to witness it. But you know what? I'm glad that I saw the Leyland DAP Cup final. I'm glad that I saw the auto windscreens. I'm glad that I saw the awful defeat at the Millennium Stadium. And I'm glad that I saw the Carling Cup
Forster's goal at Grimsby.
I've had demotions. I've been up.
You've got to be delighted you saw that, haven't you?
the Grimsby goal, yeah.
The Grimsby away goal, Nicky Forster.
You scored in the 7-0, didn't you, at Stoke as well?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was there with my
first one, didn't you? Did you get the first one?
Horrible.
No, I think I got second or third one. I mean, that was just unbelievable. I mean, now if someone says the most amazing game, I think that has pretty much got to be it. I mean, do you remember one of their fans come on and squared up to John McCarthy at the end? It was almost a little bit menacing, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It was almost, you know, whoa, listen, this is a game of football, but I mean, it was just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, Paul Furlong up front as well was just on fire as well. You all were. Everybody who played in that game was a 10 out of 10.
I watched it the other day, to be honest with you. The highlights on YouTube.
Nick, just going back to all these, you know, things like rumours and so forth. We do have to remember that they're only rumours, and social media. Crikey, I mean, it is like Chinese whispers.
You'd like to think the Hogan
across the, you know,
You'd like to think the Hogan rumour's rubbish, and hopefully, you know, he keeps working on, because, you know, hopefully he keeps going for us, and eventually he turns it round for us, because we've all seen him. We've all seen him bag goals in, but he was better when he had Djukovic with him, wasn't he? That's the reality.
Listen, there's no doubt about it that a striker is judged on goals. I judge myself on the goals. And, you know, if he's not getting goals, he's not getting chances, he is getting more and more frustrated. He's going to get more and more niggly. And it's one of those things, you hold it in, and then something just is a catalyst for just an absolute outpouring of emotion. And it sounds like that is. But listen, if he suddenly starts finding the back of the net and he scores a couple of goals and then goes on a little run, there's no doubt about it. Strikers, he'll be a changed man. He'll be happy. He'll be walking around with a skip in his step because he's doing his job and he's doing what he wants to do, which is score goals.
He does need help up there, though, Nicky.
Huh?
He needs some help up there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So this is born out of an absolute frustration. I'll be honest with you. You know, he's an excellent player, and if he is underperforming because he is not getting the service, then he is going to start at some point venting that on someone, isn't he?
That's like I said. You know, relate it back to a restaurant. You'd only wait so long, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you're right there. Going back to that, confidence breeds confidence. Basically, and it just needs.
You more confident about the sound for next week, then, Chris?
Definitely. Yeah.
See, I was really excited after we beat, and I hate to keep saying it, Nicky, because I know you've got connections with Reading, but I loved it when we beat Reading away, because that performance, especially in the first half, we were absolutely brilliant, and we just haven't seen anything like it remotely since, and I don't understand why.
No,
you're right.
You know,
possibly we're tinkering with the team. I mean. Again, it's surprising.
They made 7 changes the other day, Mark. That's not good.
No.
7. No. That's 2/3 of the team, mate.
Yeah, I know. That's like I say, get a fantastic result at Reading the other week, and then next game, why?
I'm pleased. I'm pleased we don't have a game in the week this week. Now they've got 7 days now to prepare for Middlesbrough away on Saturday, and I'm hoping now that he won't have any sort of, he'll put what he thinks is his best 11 out there to go and get a result in Middlesbrough.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've been linked with Connor Wickham, but does anyone think it could be the end of Juki?
Don't know. I think we need somebody as well as them, though. We don't, we can't go with 2 strikers. We need at least 3, don't we? I think, even if we're playing 1.
Yeah.
A question for Nicky from Vic Singh, friend of the show. Nice to see your dad on Sky News the other day, mate. Nicky Forster was known for his pace. Was there anybody at Blues who was quicker than him during his time with us?
No chance. Do you know what? We had some some rapid players at the time. Michael Johnson is quick. Jono was quick when he got going. He was quick. Peter and Love was quick over a short distance.
Peter and Love.
Nuddy was quick. Yeah.
Nicky, was you faster than Peter and Love? Was you faster than Peter and Love?
100% faster. To be honest with you, to be honest with you guys, I was quick and greedy. Do you know what I mean? If you took those assets away from me, I wasn't a professional player. I had an eye for a goal. I was very quick. I looked to be direct in behind. I think I was probably the most offside player in Football League history. But when I got it right, I broke lines in defences and learned to sort of to score goals. But was there anyone quicker? No, I don't know if there was actually at the time. But Peter Unlove was quick. Jono was quick when he got going. Dealey was quick. To be fair, Dealey was quick when he got going.
Dealey had a bowler, yeah. So let's reminisce then, mate. So you're at Brentford. How does it come about? Does Trevor get in touch, or is that your agent? Or
do you know what? There was a few scouts from Birmingham. When you play and when you get out on a pitch, there's always like someone says before a game, you're in the changing rooms, says, "Oh, so and so's here." Scouts from Birmingham here, there's scouts from Reading's here, scouts from so and so. We always players generally get to hear about it, and. Birmingham had been down a couple of times. Now, myself and Carlos Arba were both playing well, scoring goals at the time. So, you know what? I don't know if it's true, but Grange, I think Trevor spoke to Grange and said, look, if you're talking about Fozzie or Saabs, which one would you go for? And Grange, he was my best mate. He went Fozzie straight away. And whether that played a part, I don't know. But... I know that Martin put in a good word for me, Grange. And I remember coming to the club and I've got really good memories of the club. And do you know what? In terms of the clubs that have formed me as a person I am now, Birmingham is pretty pivotal, pretty inspirational, really. And one of the reasons was because I got injured so quickly. And I spent time with Neil McDiarmid, the physio there, who was, I don't know if you remember Neil, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
As a man that taught me how to grow a pair of knackers, if that's a term.
Yeah, you can say knackers.
He was like granite. I remember being injured and coming in, and well, in fact, the day I signed, a few of the boys said to me, just do not, whatever you do, don't get injured here because he will just break you. And I done my cruciate 3 games in, and I couldn't have done a worse injury. But do you know what? He was, I got a lot of time for Neil and Keith Porter, who operated on me. In fact, when I moved to Reading a few years later, I did my cruciate on my other knee, and I came back up to see the surgeon in Birmingham and to see Neil to help me with my rehab. That's how much I think of them guys. So,
yeah, brilliant. So it was 700,000 we paid for you, wasn't it? If I remember.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it's probably the biggest transfer fee. And do you know what? I got to the club and maybe I was sort of infused. I remember us going away to Bolton and we went 1-0 up, I think, and we ended up losing. But the club were just in that period where they were just going through that sort of transition stage and just not quite hitting, where they should be. But I remember signing and some of the names when we look back now are sort of mind-boggling. Steve Bruce, Mike Newell, Barry Horn, Anders Limpar, Gary Ablett. God rest his soul, one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. What a nice guy Gary is or was. And it just household names, and Paul Furlong. And I got injured 3 games in, and that's the problem. That's when I knew I was at a big club, because by the time I came back, we'd signed Paul Furlong, Peter Unlove and Dealey Adebola. and straight away you're below those three in terms of your pecking order. Do you know what I mean? And that's the clout of a big club. You come out the team or you get injured, they replace you with better players or very good players, and you start below them. And that's that opened my eyes. Coming to the club, I've been at Gillingham, I've been at Brentford, and with all due respect to them, they're not the same level. But I played for Brentford, and the year that you guys beat Brentford to the title, do you remember? That was the year.
Yeah. 95, yeah.
Yeah, it was a transition year, so only one went up, didn't they? Do you remember? We come second, and I remember coming up midweek, and we played Birmingham midweek, and I think you beat us 1-0. I think it was the game that the centre half, Dave Barnett, did he snap his Achilles or something like that?
Barnett,
yeah, he damaged his Achilles because he was running around near me when it happened. But and I remember the intimidating atmosphere. It was a real sort of tense, close night, lots of sort of low mist in the sky, and I remember thinking, this is a big club. So to sign for you guys a little while later was a great achievement. I loved my time there. It's just sadly the injury coming 3 games in and then putting me out for 6-7 months, was a real unfortunate event. But as I say, it went a long way in building me as a character.
Yeah. So who was your debut against, if you can remember, and who was your first goal against?
It was I tell you the story. The first time I come on in a blue shirt was against West Brom at home, and I give the ball away on the halfway line. The ball came up to me, I give it away, they crossed it in, and I think Hunt or I think scored the winner. I give the ball away and so, but listen, I was used to that. 50% of the fans hating me and 50% loving me, and by the end of the game, they all hated me. So I was used to that anyway.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Yeah.
And your first goal?
First goal, I think, was Grimsby away. I think it was
it?
Grimsby away, and I never forget. We went up to Grimsby the night before. We checked into this hotel, and here's one for you. We checked into this hotel, and then. About me and Granger were in this room, and it was an absolute dive of a hotel. Can't remember, somewhere in Grimsby, and the phone rang in the room, and picked up the phone, hello, and it was Brucey, and he went, everyone down in reception in 5 minutes, we're not staying here. And you'd expect that call to come from the manager or the assistant manager, but it weren't. It was Brucey saying, "No, we ain't staying here." We all had to move, so we went into another hotel about 5 miles down the road.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Was that mid kind of February?
That was mid-February. So I played 3 games, scored 3 in 3. So I scored against Grimsby away, Wolves at home when we got beat 2-1, and I think Bully scored after about 20 seconds. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then I scored a quite a lucky equaliser just on the stroke of half time. I think they scored in the second half, and then I scored against Southend at home and done the cruciate in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to Grimsby game away. My God, that was cold.
It's one of your highlights, Nick. We've covered that.
My ex-wife at the time, and I think the eldest son and the second one down. So Adam would only be 4 or 5. Luke pretty much not far off newborn, maybe 1. And I was at work, and I was saying, I'm going to the Grimsby game tomorrow. Got a ticket, and this lad at work said to my missus, he said, "Oh, you need to go to Grimsby." He said, "It's lovely, it's a beautiful place." He was going,
It smells. It smells.
Talked away into coming to Grimsby. I left them on the dock. She had got the car keys. I went up to the gate, and they just stood there in the fog. And it was really, really, really cold. It's football. You got to go, ain't you?
Yeah.
I think that's what I done second half. Just stood there in the fog.
So who was the best? Who were the best sort of pranksters and jokers in the dressing room? Would you say at that time?
I mean, Jono was, Jono was such a great lad. He was just brilliant. I mean, he used to do impressions. He could do Des Walker. He did John Barnes. He was just such a great character in the dressing room, and so was Benno. To be fair, Benno was Benno was a great lad, but. It was a real nice mix. Furs. I spent a lot of time with Furs because Furs used to drive up and down every day. Believe it or not, he used to live in London, and Trevor used to say, "Furs, when are you moving up?" And he said, "Oh, next week I'm looking at another place, Gaffer." And he never looked at a single place. Furs just drove up every single day. Do you know what I mean? Up and down the motorway. And but you were right. I mean, there was a time that year, I think we did a pre-season down in Plymouth, where Trevor was from. Down, I think HMS Drake, I think it was.
With the Marines,
Yeah, and Furs that year, I remember watching him, and he just was magnificent. He just looked like, and I remember it wasn't Ian Bowyer, it was the other assistant. He said Furs looks like an international, strutting around like an international, and he did. He was just magnificent. Furs.
Was that Arvel Lowe? Arvel Lowe?
No, not Arvel. It was Frank Barlow. Was it?
Frank Barlow.
Frank Barlow.
Yeah, Frank Barlow. Yeah.
What's the name from the past?
I know, but going back to the Grimsby game, Nicky, Ray Hobro has suggested it's probably the St James's Hotel that you were in.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. Well, I mean, I just thought it was just. I was just like, I mean, when I came from Brentford, and Dave Webb, who was my manager there, you know, the old Chelsea player, sort of East End gangster. I mean, when one of the Cray boys died, he was at the front of the procession in the paper on the following day, you know. So whatever he said, we all did. But I went to this club, and the captain's phoning up, "Brucey, we ain't staying here. We're going off somewhere else." I mean, I just couldn't believe it. But it's a great story.
That's good. Not July, isn't it,
Yeah.
Paul, can we do the 1 to 11, 8:15 gone?
20
Yeah,
past?
sure.
Yeah.
So you're doing your 1 to 11, Nicky, yeah? Best players you played with for us from your time with us.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I was there 3 seasons, and you know, so for me, the amount that I've got to call on isn't a huge amount, but you know, Benno in goal was just terrific for me. I mean, I love Benno; he's a great character. Sometimes when I bump into him now, he's got time. We sit and we chat together, and you know, it's special time. Left back, got to go with my mate Grange. He was just do you know what? Grange is that sort of player. I'm not going to do a resume on all of them, but Grange is the sort of player that you'd rather have him in your team than against him, because I mean, I've seen him sort of, and we all have snapped people in half, which I mean, to be honest, he'd probably be sat in the stands more than he would on the pitch nowadays with the game the way it is, wouldn't he? Certainly with VAR, he'd be off every other day, wouldn't he? But in terms of commitment, he was brilliant. Percy,
he could play though, couldn't he? His free kicks and set pieces, and that left foot he had was a one, wasn't it? It was brilliant.
Well, I grew up as a West Ham fan, which you guys I'm sure won't like, but I grew up as a West Ham fan, and Julian Dix for me was my hero to a point, and I think Grange was equally as good as him. Do you know what I mean? Similar sort of player.
Do you chat to him at all? Do you speak to him at all, Grange? Or?
Yeah. I spoke to him recently because our agent at the time, Eric Hall, just recently sadly passed away.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
So he texted me. So Eric did my move to Birmingham and Grange's move to Birmingham.
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
that's sad.
Yeah,
that's sad. Yeah. Shame.
In terms of at the back, I've mentioned his name, Gary Ablett. I just, what a really nice guy, you know, for all the people that I met and those high profile names when I came to Birmingham, he's the one that just had a nice soft that manner to him, just a really charming man, and a sad loss for us all, I know. And at the back with him, Percy, not only in my time playing with Percy, I travelled in and out with Percy because we lived just not far from Stratford upon Avon, but you know, seeing Percy develop when I left, and you know, watching him captain the side and go down to Wembley and score his penalties, and you know, I thought, you know, what a good man, what a good leader he was. For the team.
Some good centre halves to choose from though, haven't you, as well, like Bruce and.
Well, the obvious one is Brucey. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I've got a lot of time for Brucey. Other than the fact when I snapped my Cruciate, I had to go and sit in at right back because we ran out of subs, and my knee was flapping all over the place. And instead of running up the line, I just smashed it upfield out of play, and he gave me a right bollocking. And then on the Monday, he come in and he found I'd done my Cruciate, and he said, Foz, I'm sorry, I didn't realise you'd done your knee. So he gave me an apology. But no, I like Brucey. But listen,
and then you got So you could have easily had Bruce and Jono there, couldn't you? Rather than but Ablett was a Rolls Royce, wasn't he? Gary Ablett was a Rolls Royce of a centre half.
Yeah, I admired him as a man as well. I really did, and you know, he was really good for a younger player coming in. You know, listen, his career speaks for itself, as does Bruce's. But listen, those two could be a toss of a coin, couldn't it?
Yeah. And right back.
Right back. Listen, we've had some great right backs, but I'm going to go for my mate Bassey because I spent a lot of time with Johnny Bass. I know he didn't get a lot of games for the club, and unfortunately he could have and should have had a better career than he did there. But Bassey was another good lad. I liked him. Central midfield. I'm going to go for Barry Horn. I enjoyed playing with Barry. Again, he was you could see what sort of leader and what sort of guy he was. Well, the fact that when he took over the PFA and he became the chairman of the PFA, he ran that really well. And again, a couple of times I spoke to him because I was lucky enough to get in the team, and he was a terrific fella.
Yeah.
And in the middle there, I'm going to go with Martin O'Connor. Another lad that I've got so much time for. Great character. He was really good. He was almost like an unsung hero, Martin. But he brought the team together. He brought the dressing room together. He was a great character.
Yeah. Gets in everybody's team, Nicky. Nobody we haven't had anybody on this show that played with him that hasn't picked him.
That's right.
He's a great lad. On the wing, Nuddy, Peter Unlove. He can infuriate, he can frustrate, but then he can do stuff that none of us mortals can do. I mean, some of the things I saw him do, both in training and in games, is just incredible. And I think he scored a hat trick, didn't he, in a pre-season game against Man United? Did he?
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable, Peter.
Yeah. Did you play in the games? When he used to rip Wolves and West Brom apart?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've played in some games with Nuddy where he just does stuff that defies belief. And to be fair to Trevor, even when he used to train with us at that time, up at Wast Hills, he was another one. Trev could do stuff still with a ball that I mean, he could get across in the box that you didn't think it was possible, and he'd get the ball and you'd be stood there thinking, well, I didn't expect it to come in, Gaffer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why the hell are you not gambling? I'm thinking, well, I didn't even know it was going to come in. Do you know what I mean? So, he was that good. It was hard to read.
Yeah. I remember him. I remember going to the Hawthorns, and he was just unplayable that day. Peter Unlove. I think he got two, and Daly got the other one, and we won 3-0.
Three, yeah. I remember that. It's 3-0 at half time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We looked like we were going to score 5 or 6.
That's right. I do remember. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and he was
great game. That was. Yeah, that was
Oh, just unbelievable. In terms of on the other side, John McCarthy, he was, do you know what? He could just get crosses in the box. I knew that if he got the ball out wide, 8 times out of 10, he'd get a cross in the box, and then I could make a move off it, and I could gamble off it. And then up front, it's got to be Furs. Furs was just like I say, I spent a lot of time with Furs. He's a good friend now, and I sort of keep in touch. But Furs for me up front. And then Big Kev, Super Kev, because when I came to the club, he was my strike partner, and I really always worked well off a sort of a little and a large combination, and they don't come much larger than Big Kev.
They don't, no.
In terms of size, but also in terms of just what a nice man he was. Do you know what I mean? He was, or it is, I'm sure. I don't speak to Kev now. I haven't spoken to him, but I'm sure I would if I saw him. And he's just a lovely guy.
I can still see him now, Nicky. I can still see him now playing up front for us with his big, thick gold chain on.
Yeah.
What's he actually do now? He's a
mountie.
He's a policeman. He's a policeman in Canada.
Is he?
Yeah. He's a mountie.
Yeah.
He'd need a big horse, wouldn't he?
I was just about to say, poor horse.
I know. Yeah. He was a big. He was a big lad, wasn't he? He was a big lad.
Yeah.
That's a great side.
Because, he was a good foil for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's a cracking team, that is. Who would be captain there?
I'd be captain. I'd sit on the bench and then I'd come on at half time. I'd take the baton. Captain. Just for pure experience, I'll give it Gary Ablett.
Yeah. Great show.
Top man. Yeah. I'd say, Paul, 3/4 of that side we've had as guests. Or at least half.
Yeah.
Of them. Yeah.
Crikey, it'd be great to get Paul Furlong on, wouldn't it? And Big Kev.
Yeah.
That front two. We've never had either of that front two on. It'd be great to get one of them two on. Or both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gents, we've still got a few football teams left for the signed Boyle Sport shirt. It's £2 to go. Get in touch with either myself, Chris Brown, Paul Hipkins, Mark, or the Tilton Talk page, and we'll get it. There it is. It's a signed Birmingham City shirt this season. It's £2 a shot. So all you need to do is buy a ticket. Got to be in it to win it.
Yep. That's it.
And we've still got a few tickets left on the signed football as well.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Did you keep much memorabilia, Nicky, in your career?
You know what? I went up to get something out of the loft a while back, and I found 3 bags full of shirts. And do you know what? I thought to myself, it's criminal, really, that I've got shirts just in bags that are doing nothing. So I sent a couple out to friends. I found a shirt from Malky Mackay from Norwich, and I know a friend who's a Norwich fan, and I've got some Birmingham shirts in there. So listen, guys, I'm more than happy to pass them over, or if anyone's interested, because I tell you what, do you know what? It's a crime that they're just sat in a bag and they've been there. Well, I left in '99, so they've been there 21 years, and it's just a waste.
Yeah.
So,
That'd be fantastic.
I made the decision to start distributing them out. So.
We're supporting the PTSD charity for our returned veterans from recent conflicts, and Birmingham Homeless Support Team, the Jeff Horsfield Foundation, and Paul Devlin's
and his charity. Yeah,
for Addison's. Guys, I will dig out what I've got, and they'll be on their way to you guys to do what you want with them.
We wanted to
fantastic. That would
spend some amount of money for the PTSD charity, but obviously with COVID we got caught short. The plan was to, we'll kick it all back off. It'll be all right. Everything will be all right. And then, but I must admit, I have had Sharon on the go for over an hour today, telling her that the pubs are opening on the 29th of February.
It ain't going to happen, Nick.
She put Boris on this time.
That ain't going to happen. No. Here we go. Aaron Gallas says, Nicky is a great guy and he's a brilliant balloon nose. He's deaf, so he always says what he is. We're talking about Nicky Musbury, yeah.
Nicky Musbury, good.
Yeah. Says in but we know what he's trying to say. So people, just be careful.
I'm just having to read through here for any live questions. So Siobhan Kenny's asked, has Nicky got any beef with any players he played with, whether at Blues or other clubs, that he still doesn't like today?
Do you know what? I was a crafty bugger. I used to sort of try and the centre halves were my nemesis and goalkeepers. So do you know what? When I first got onto a pitch before the game or during the first part of the game, first 15 minutes, I'd almost get into their ear a little bit and sort of be sort of super friendly with them. So, all right, how are you, mate? Yeah. You know what I mean? And almost like lull them into a bit of a false sense of security. But the answer is no one really. I mean, I remember once when I was at Gillingham early doors, I ran into Darren Moore.
Dave. Yeah.
I ran into him
literally
full pace, and it was like running into a brick wall. And down I went, but suddenly the game carried on, and then suddenly the ball broke, and I saw it near me, so I got up. He was waving to the ref, say, "Ref, come and sort this. He's hurt. I got up, ran off, went through and scored, and he wanted to rip my head off. So, so I don't think he still likes me. But I tell you what, the only one that annoyed me a little bit, niggled me once, and was Naylor, the fullback for Wolves.
Wolves,
It was in the playoff semi-final, and I've probably never told this story. And the ball was shepherding out of play. And I thought, I can smash him here a little bit and leave a bit on it, which is naughty, really. But it was ironic because I ended up doing myself and damaging ankle ligaments and missed the following game, which was the semi-final playoff second leg.
Oh dear.
There's a lesson there. I'd never tackled anyone in my life.
So, who's the best player you've ever played with in your whole career? And let's do Blues and in your whole career and against as well. Who's the toughest opponent you've ever faced as well?
I played before I came to Birmingham. Played for the under 21s, and I played with Beckham. And he went on. At that point, he wasn't as high profile. but obviously he's gone on to have like an amazing career. So
Yeah,
he's probably the best one I sort of played with. I look back actually, funny enough, at some of the cuttings of the games that I played for the 21s, and we played France, and Pires played, and he was on a different planet to everyone else. And we played Brazil, and Juninho played, and again he was something else. So those two boys internationally stood out. I was lucky enough to play on the same pitch as Thierry Henry, and he was the one that, for me as a striker, looking and that raw pace. I mean, what amazed me about Thierry Henry is that for much of the game he looked disinterested and not really actively looking to come and seek and find the ball, but as and when it got into his area, he was just like, you like the blue touch paper, and he was gone. And it was just something else. Even standing on the pitch watching him was just special, really. Just a special.
When we first got to the Premier League, Arsenal beat us 4-0 at St Andrews, and he was just superhuman that day. He was unbelievable. Honestly, I just couldn't believe how good he was.
Yeah,
you know, that whole Arsenal team was a joke, wasn't it, in 2000 and early 2000s. But that, Thierry Henry was just on another planet when he was an unbelievable player.
Him and Bergkamp,
You just got to sort of look at those guys, and when they're on fire like that and have got that swagger about them, you've just got to take it in and appreciate it. I remember when I was doing my A license, the coach there, Dick Bate, head of the FA coaching department, said, go and watch the best players in whatever sport you can. So don't just limit it to football, but just go and watch the best players. Go and watch Tiger Woods if you can strike a golf ball. Go and watch Thierry Henry in full flow. These people are on a sort of a different level to the rest of us mortals, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And the best player you played with at Blues?
I'd have to say Peter Unlove. I mean, as I say, he could infuriate, and there are times where he'd take someone and he'd chop it back, and I'd think, okay, well, roll me in, set me up, and he didn't. He wanted to go for another check or another this or another that, and you couldn't read it, and then he'd go and bend it in the top corner or do something just ridiculously good with it. But it was infuriating, but just mesmerising at times.
Would you say he underachieved in his career? He was at Coventry a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he was elevated so much from a young age, Coventry, when he did what he did, and that.
Yeah.
And it was. I almost feel like sometimes these players, and I look at Michael Owen as a great example, played so much football from such a young age that they almost fizzle out early.
Yeah,
they've got that sort of much space in time, and whether it's early to the mid part or sort of middle to the latter or towards the end, wherever that is, it's hard to have that sort of quality for that amount of time. 17 years or 15 to 17 years, which is the life of a pro footballer, is a long time to keep form. An awful long time.
Yeah, because he played for his country. He played for Zimbabwe from an early age as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
he was always.
Yeah, I mean, he had a national day out there and all sorts, didn't he? They had a national bank holiday in his name.
Yeah. And Stephen Gill. Sorry, Mark.
Ask Nicky what your favourite goal was in your career.
In my career at Birmingham, or my career in total?
Career in total.
Okay, so do both. Well, do both if you want, mate.
Yeah, I can do. I mean, I came on Sheffield United away, and we beat them, and I went through, and it was a nice ball through. I can't remember who played it through. And
I was there, Nicky. I was there. It was Chris Marsden who played the pass, I think.
He'll remember.
It could be. I rounded the keeper, and at the time I had a really short skinhead, and I've got a series of photos which are sort of step-by-step frames of me running through round the keeper and rolling it in, and a nice celebration. So I've got it in a sort of a collective of montage, which looks really nice. So that was quite a nice one for the Blues. My best goal ever. I scored a nice one against Sheffield United for Reading on Sky, but probably one of the goals I scored against Ipswich, which was a hat-trick I scored for Reading against Ipswich. That was probably my first one of those was my best.
Yeah, we won that game, didn't we? At Sheffield United, when you scored, was it 2-0, 3-0?
Yeah, I think it was either 2 or 3. I think it might have been 3. But we definitely won it. But they had a good team then as well.
Dealey got one, didn't he? Addy Bowler scored one, didn't he, in that game at Sheffield United? I was there. I remember it like it was yesterday. Still be on the goal. Yeah, remember being there.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Good stuff. More live questions from Pat Begley. How do you rate the fans of Birmingham? We are amazing. Have you played for a team with load of fans away?
Do you know what? When I signed for you guys, I was warming up, and I'd been at Gillingham was my club, my first club, and then Brentford, and again different clubs. No disrespect to them, but they're just not the size of Birmingham. I remember warming up, and forgive me, I'll try the accent, whether I get it right or not. Someone was in the stand, and they went, Nicky,
That's good.
and I said, come here. So I walked over to them. I was thinking, oh no, he went, do you want a bite of my meat pie? Before the game. And I was like, no, you're all right. Okay. And do you know what? If I had my time again, I would have had a bite of his pie because it didn't look good.
Chris Brown.
Do you want a bite of my meat pie? And I thought, do you know what? These are different sort of fans. These are unbelievable. Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, I can't listen. Listen, I'm on a talk show, Tilton show, and for me to wax lyrical about you guys, you'd expect it because I'm your guest. But I tell you now, I'm not just saying it when I say the fans of Birmingham are. I mean, I've never played Newcastle, and they say their fans are passionate, but I can only imagine that you guys are the same as that because you guys are something different than anywhere else I've been, and I don't know the reason for that. I then went to Reading afterwards, fairly affluent middle class area. I'm not saying Birmingham isn't, but the assistant manager, the assistant manager used to say there that the fans never used to shout and cheer; they used to email. You know what I mean? And I don't know, but the fans at Birmingham are, I mean, just they're special. They are. Yeah. They're special.
Okay, the question for me then, right? Okay, right. 2011 Carling Cup semi-final. Was you rooting for West Ham or Blues? Do you know who I found? When I grew up, I was with a family of West Ham fans. My dad was an East End boy, so we supported those. Who do I support now? I support 8 different clubs, and they're the clubs I play for. Well, they're the clubs I play for. You know what I mean? Yeah. So every club I was lucky enough to put their shirt on. That's who I support. Okay. And they're the clubs I look for. And when we go back to what you were saying earlier about you've not had success for a time, and I thought about it and thought, you know what? I haven't been excited about looking for a Birmingham score for too long a time.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean there?
Yeah.
You know, I come off Saturday, I look and think, it's R5. Let's have a look at the scores. And I look and think, Reading are in and around there. I wonder how Reading got on. Still in top 6, still out of top 6. I don't feel like that at Birmingham of the last few years because
there's nothing to be excited about.
No, that's it.
I'm being dead straight as a football fan. Nothing to be excited about. Here we are, 2021, right? Our new stadium's falling to bits. Yeah, we've got supposedly fights at half time. Players refusing to play. We still haven't got Pucker Pies back.
But and you've got 50% of the season still to play for.
Yeah.
You've got 23 games. It's not as if you've got 8 games left and you've lost the chance. You've blown it.
Nicky, I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or not.
Breaking news. Steve Portman's written tonight, Nicky, here is your pie guy.
No, it ain't. No, is it?
So I know the guy well. He wouldn't say
I
so.
I swear to you, someone said, "Here, do you want a bite of my meat pie?" And listen, if I offended him, I'm sorry. I should have.
What we're paying for. Our humour is second to none in the football world. Nobody can beat us. Nobody has got a patch on some of the stuff that we do.
Nicky, can you say happy birthday to Siobhan Kenny, aged 36?
Happy birthday, Siobhan. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope you can enjoy it with some of your family and friends at this difficult time. But happy birthday.
Fantastic.
Lots of questions coming in, loads of comments as well. Blimey, crikey. Right, I'm going to go back to West Ham at the minute. I suppose as a kid, you obviously went. And West Ham's ground, wow, that was compact. You were so close to the touchlines there. Never moved into this horrible, vile, soulless stadium, right? And of course, rumours, and they're only rumours, are that they may close St Andrews down and we'll move to the not the Olympics. What's it called?
Alexander Stadium.
Stadium after that shuts. If that happens, Birmingham City, you better listen to me. If that happens, I will not go.
No, I don't think nobody will.
Again, ever.
No, I don't think.
But again, you got to take it with a pinch of salt, Nick.
Yeah, it's a rumour. It's only rumour.
Rumour,
it's a Chinese whisper.
Rumour, but I want to put it out there. I want to put it out there now because them games are coming next year, right? And that stadium's just going to be kind of redundant afterwards. No, I don't want a soulless, horrible, vile place to go and watch my football. I want St Andrews, where my dad took me in '73, where I took my eldest son, my second son, my first daughter, my ex-wife, Sharon, you name it, everything, everybody, right? Because I've got all the memories there, every single memory. I know I can't remember much. I'm a bit too old, but I do struggle. But you know what I mean? And don't even think about taking them away from me.
It would be horrific if we did ever go somewhere like that. It would be just so,
soulless.
I agree with.
I still wouldn't go.
I agree with what you're saying, Nick, in terms of your association with the place. And, I agree that the West Ham stadium is not geared for football, but it wasn't designed for football.
No.
It's been shoehorned. Football's been shoehorned into it. But if you want to compete with the teams, the top teams, you want to move the club forward. At some stage, they will move, won't they? They'll have to. They'll either have to regenerate.
Of course, I want to move the club forward, but I don't want to move the club.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
I think if we can sort out the Cop and Tilton, the railway end's fine, and then that main stand. Sorry, Ray Hobro, but the Ray Hobro main stand. Knock it down. Needs to be sorted out. I mean, it was a dinosaur when you were playing, Nicky, and how many years ago was that now? So 21 years ago. So.
I mean, there was we had sort of porter cabins at one stage, and we had the long walk underneath the stand, didn't we?
That's right.
It's different now. Yeah, we had the long walk underneath the tunnel.
Yep.
And
I bet you felt really special, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a stud killer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You used to grind your studs down, walking all the way through, and then out onto the pitch.
Yeah.
That's actually a good link, actually, because Ray Hobro has just said, "What was the best pair of football boots you've ever had?"
Me, Umbro, I used to idolise. For me, as a player, when I played, the one I looked up to was Alan Shearer, and he wore the Umbro Speciales. So I remember, I mean, everyone, to be fair, was wearing the Puma Kings. I don't know if you remember those. They were really soft leather, and they were like the first sort of over £100 pair of boots, which was immoral in those days.
I don't think I paid £100 for shoes in all my life.
I know. It's unbelievable, but it just shows how football's changed. My lad now, my son plays for Charlton, and he wears a pair of boots straight out the box, and 4 or 5 games after he's worn them, that's it, they're done. And you look at them, you wipe them down, they look brand new. Whereas the olden days, you'd get a pair of boots, you'd give them to the YTS boy, he'd wear them for 5 or 6 training sessions to break them in.
Yeah.
It's a totally, it's completely different.
You say your son plays for Charlton?
Jake Forster Casky.
We shall look out for him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, can you believe we're actually into the last 15 minutes of the show?
Are we going to run over a little bit because we started later, or
I think we can probably go a couple of minutes, but not that's about it really.
Okay. Well, we'll have a bit of that. What we're doing right, Nicky, at the end of the show for the last 15 minutes, do a little bit of fun word association, and this just proves what the Birmingham City fans' humour is actually like. We just choose a random subject once a week, and we get them to word associate with anything to do with football and the random subject. Today, ladies and gentlemen, your random subject is a chip shop, and I want to start you off with Barry Fryer.
So that was so random that you've been thinking about it all day?
Yeah, that is just that's a conspiracy.
Come on.
Wait, since last Monday.
So what was Nicky? What was Trevor like in the dressing room then? So when things weren't going too good, and when say we go in at half time 2-0 down, what would he be like?
Really irritated. Trev is, I've got a lot of time for Trev, but the one thing that I think Trev struggled with was relating to other players. And the way he spoke to players, sometimes he didn't get the most out of them. And I remember Devs. I mean, I was sitting around a big round table eating dinner, and he was just trying to communicate, Trev. And he said to Devs, and Devs will bear me out here, he said, Devs, have you ever been to New York on Concorde? Devs looked at him as though like, what are you on about? And it was just trying to, because Trev used to go off every year, the 3 years I was there, and Trev used to go off for 3 or 4 days. He'd go after a game on a Saturday and come back on a Thursday or something, and go off and fly to Concord to New York for Christmas shopping. And he spoke to, and that was the problem with Trevor, is that he perhaps just struggled sometimes to relate to some of the younger lads that, you know, hadn't lived the privilege that he'd lived.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Then I'll just crack on with a few of these while we're just waiting.
There's hundreds.
Okay, we got Madonna Kebab from Steve Portman. Jake Clark from Craig Courtney. Patrick Berger from Ray Hobro.
The next one's good.
Oh dear me!
Can you see?
I tell you what,
Nick, can you see Jake Salter?
Yeah, we got
Maradona Kebab.
Nicky Buttered Roll. Dean Gherkin. Ken
Dean
Fish,
Gherkin,
blues trainer, early 60s. Ooh. Christoph de Gravy. Corey Dalby.
What about Peter Unlove?
Pizza. Oh yeah, Pizza Unlove. Pizza Unlove. Yeah.
Or what about Sepp Batter?
Well, we've got Sepp.
I like it.
Pitch and chips. Place a Harford. Place a Harford. Pickled dong from Terry.
Don't like the sound of that.
No, but it was worth it.
You got any more funny stories you can tell us, Nicky? Any more good pranks anyone played on anyone or anything like that?
That you're allowed to say.
Well, do you know, the trip that I touched on earlier about us going down to Plymouth pre-season, HMS Drake, and I remember going in, and they had the field gunners there that did the Royal Tournament. So as we came in on the coach, the boys who'd done the Royal Tournament, I don't know if you haven't seen it, they dismantle a cannon and then they carry it across a sort of threshold, and then they reassemble this cannon, and it takes them about 4 or 5 minutes, and these guys are just enormous. And I remember us coming in, and we're all coming in, and everyone's got their Hugo Boss flip-flops on, and their Prada sandals
Those were the days, eh?
Yeah, this beautiful coach. And then these guys had just finished this grueling test, and as we walked in, they were giving us all these hand signals that I can't do, and we thought, oh my God, this is going to be horrendous for a week. But we did one morning where we went and did some sparring with like the Marine champion boxer, and so we did some boxing stuff. And he said, like, does anyone want to come in the ring for us? You know, and Jono said, yeah, I'll have a go in the ring. So we had 1 3-minute round with this Marine champion, and Jono will tell you the story. And he starts moving around the ring, sparring. So we're going, go on, Jono, hit him. So he threw a few punches and missed. And the guy said, look, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. So he said, go on, Jono, go on, son. So anyway, Jono's hit him and caught him on the nose. So we're all cheering. No sooner as we cheered, he smacked Jono right on the nose. And a little bit of blood's trickling down his nose. He was like, oh, that was it. He was out. But I went in the ring next, and all I can say was me with this guy. It just looked like Tom and Jerry. He chased me round the ring for 3 minutes, and neither of us threw a punch. But to be fair, they were really good days.
Go on, Nick.
And then we got Chip and Doy. Jose Marini Rowe, Razor.
Jose Marini Rowe.
Oh, God. That's when we go dizzy.
Peter Crouch.
Peter Crouch, yeah.
St Andrews, the place to be.
The place. Very clever.
Gary Vinegar, Robbie Savage, fish got battered. Avaloy Milosevic. Sabo. God, do you remember that?
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah.
That's me with a seven.
He's gone. I think he's gone. He's
Oh,
gone.
my God.
Oh,
Necessary.
tikka masala.
Chicken masala with drink water.
I'm struggling. I can't think of one.
I thought this would be really hard. But,
Not for this lot, Chris. You know these rats.
Actually, it's a big occasion. I've gone the whole show without going the toilet.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you.
There's a hole in my bucket, dear.
Does that mean you finally got it? Yeah, you finally got a bucket.
Yeah, I have actually.
Or a litter tray.
Yeah.
Okay, next week we've got 6 minutes of the show left to go. Middlesbrough next. Let's have your predictions, Mark.
Pretty much. I don't think there'll be many goals. I'm going to go for a 0-0.
Right, 0-0, Chris Brown.
I'm going to 2-0 loss. Can I also
Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year.
Can I also just say that next week I'm going to empty the bucket?
God, I've wet myself.
I can't wet myself.
Chris, when you said that, you almost sounded like it was a good result.
It was.
Yeah, it's only 2 instead of 3.
I'll take a 2. I'll take a 2-0 now.
Yeah, 2-0. Yeah. I'll be happy with that.
Absolutely crying. Put it, please. Where's it gone?
I'll go for a Desmond 2-2.
I'm going to go. I don't think we're going to win it. I don't think we're going to draw it. Dave Twine, Halibut Tarantini. There is no better one than that. That is brilliant. Off the scales. Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one from Ray Hobro.
John Scales.
That's a good one.
Go on,
Ray
then.
Hobro, David Butty.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Peter Haddock. Where do they get them from? I thought chips were going to be hard.
You could have Jodie Haddock, couldn't you? Have Jodie Haddock instead of Jodie Craddock.
Yeah.
Jodie Haddock.
Yeah, good.
Low battery. Right, I better plug my phone in just a second. Right. Yeah, sorry, Middlesbrough then, Paul.
Yeah, I just said I'll go for a Desmond 2-2.
Okay, I think.
Nicky, what are you saying? What do you reckon?
1-1.
I think we're going to get
1-1.
You think what, Nick?
1-1.
Okay.
Don't know if Auntie Linda's written in yet, but she normally predicts Blues to win 6-0.
Yeah. We talked about it a few weeks ago. That any 6-0 and I'd do the show naked. I was getting a bit scared.
Against Man City, yeah, it's a good job they took De Bruyne off at half time.
And as you saw in my pictures, I've moved a heater a bit closer to my credentials just in case.
Oh dear.
So what lies ahead for you? What lies ahead for you, Nicky, for the rest of the week, mate? What you up to for the rest of this week? Are you coaching or?
Yeah, I've got. I sort of do 2 roles now, so I got. He's gone, isn't he? Look.
He's gone. Yeah. He's off screen anyway, so I can't see him.
So
We've got the hand of God.
That's the winner.
That is the winner.
That is the winner.
I can't compete with that.
I'm actually crying with that. It's funny that was the hand of God.
This Nicky Forster is why Birmingham City fans have got the best sense of humour in the world. We lose 3-0. We're at the FA Cup. We ain't got a pot to pick.
You got a roof on the wrong way round.
But it's our roof. It's our roof.
Wrong way round. You got the roof on the wrong way round. You got the roof on the wrong way round.
Sorry, you were saying. Sorry, you're doing 2 roles now, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a personal training centre in local to where I live, and I do sort of some motivational speaking. So I do it with players and set goals, and one of the things, like I was sort of thinking about, the situation is, is what are they doing? If you've got 23 games left, what they've got, what are the club doing in terms of sitting the players down as a collective, bringing them together and saying, okay, like, where are we going to go here, guys? This isn't what we want from the season. There's no way that they are where they want to be at this point in the season. Yeah. So where is the collective togetherness where they're sitting down and they're actually setting themselves and breaking the season down into smaller chunks and say, okay, what do we want to get out of this next 3-6 games, something like that, you know?
Can I just say to that? Can I just say to that, Nicky, from your experience, would that come from the manager or would it come from the CEO as well?
Do you know what? It could come from either of them, but it could come from I mean, I go into clubs now and do this sort of thing with clubs, and there are lots of people like me who do it, but yeah. I go into clubs and help them with goal setting and development of the team, development of their coaching and things like that. But in answer to your question, when I signed for Reading, Alan Pardew got every single player into the players' lounge at the end of the game, at the end of a training session once. I want everyone back at the ground, 2:00. And he broke the games down into just that, batches of 6 games. What do we want from this 6 games? And, you know, it's easy to just say, okay, 6 games, we want 18 points. But is that realistic? Is that achievable for Birmingham at this point in time? Possibly not. Probably not. So what do you want from the next 6 games? Because you could actually then look and start thinking, okay, there's a reasonable return of points from those 6 games that would actually push us up the table. And then they've got a focus. They've got all of a sudden a channeled approach to the next batch of games. And I think it's extremely powerful because a season of 46 games or now 23 games over the next 4.5-5 months is too long a time for people to concentrate on. So you need to bring it down into smaller chunks. And I think the power of that is just incredible. And I don't understand why clubs don't do it more.
No. Good way of looking at it.
Brilliant.
Interesting, that.
Yeah, we need you, Nicky, down the club, I think.
Do you know what we need, though, Nicky?
Give me a call and I'll come and sort it out.
Well, they do watch this show, so
what we need, right, is better communication from the club. We had it a couple of years ago. That's all been eroded. It's disappeared completely, right? We don't need to know the ins and outs of a fly's backside, right? Just what the plan is, where we're going, how's it going? Okay, we're going to do this. I'm not being disrespectful. There's a good friend. Davo's gone quiet. Claire's left. Tats has gone. The heart and the soul, the brummy part of the club has been taken away. And there's nothing much left there at the moment. And it just feels like it's a big void.
That's the problem, though, sometimes with football, isn't it? Is that what do we actually support when we support a football club? Because we are, over the space of 10, 15 years, all the players have left. The management has changed. Very often the owners have changed. Even in the case of somewhere like Cardiff, the colour of their kit has changed. So what are you actually supporting? You're supporting a belief. You're supporting an ideology, aren't you? That you just love that.
I get that, but it's also supporting the weak, right? Okay, you lose on a Saturday. You're damn well sore on a Sunday. Monday's no better because you've got to go work and face your mates. Tuesday, you start to get over it. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you start looking forward to the next game. And it's the day, the experience. It's the tattoos on the arms. It's the tattoos on the hearts. It's the shirts. It's the colour. It's opening that ground up and going in and seeing the green and seeing the blue and white chairs. And it's the whole experience that nothing in life can beat. No. That's it. What it's about.
I get it.
It's about falling in love once, right?
There's got to be a communication, isn't there, coming back from the club? There's got to be, okay, what do we want to achieve? But I just think sometimes clubs just drift, and for me, a good blueprint at the moment is Brentford Football Club, because last year they just missed out. And, to sort of say, we just missed out last year, let's try and go one better. Well, how are they going to actually go one better? Because missing out the way they did to Fulham, I think it was, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That must have been a crushing blow. So to get over that and to do as well as they're doing this season and be as strong as they are, then there must be something fundamentally right with that club at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
I look 20 miles up the M6 at a certain team who play in gold and black. Can't mention the name because it makes me feel sick, right?
Another
and they
example.
were a division below us 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I look at that all the road. who cheated the way back into the Premier League.
I think anyone that's got a goal, and whatever that goal is, there has to be a clear blueprint. There has to be a clear process from getting to that position where you are now to get to that none. Whether it's whether you call it a ladder, you've got to take that and divide that up into small rungs and take those steps at a time. And if that isn't being shared, and this is the key thing that I think and we're going a bit deep, but when I went into that meeting I told you about in the Players' Lounge with Alan Pardew, in that meeting was the chief executive, was the chairman, was the kit man, was the groundsman, was the masseur, was the nutritionist, was the sports scientist. It encompassed everyone in the club. It wasn't just the 11 starters or the 18 squad members. It included everyone. It had to be a club thing.
Brilliant. And when you look at Brentford as well, when you think about us raiding them like 3 years ago for all what was three of their best players at the time, the way that and they've lost other players as well, haven't they? Obviously, Hogan went to Villa, and they've lost other players in the past as well. Their best players, they've still managed to produce, haven't they?
There's something fundamentally right with the club, and as you talk about the Gold and Black Club up the road, they're another blueprint at the moment. You can just see, the wealth that they've got. Is it the Fosun Group or someone like that? I don't know who owned them, something like that.
Yeah.
Chinese group, and their wealth is comparable to Man City, but they're not doing it by just throwing it at it. They're doing it step at a time, and they're just managing it to where they see is their.
It's literally micromanaging it, isn't it?
It is.
It's micromanaging. Every blade of grass that grows on that pitch has got to grow to a certain length.
And I don't care what you say.
About accounts, I'm talking about, your backroom staff, your front room staff, your front of house staff, everybody, everything and everybody.
And I don't care what anyone says. A roof being the wrong way round has no bearing on that. You can still get where you want with the ground, the where it is, and everything else. It's a club or a company, because football clubs are companies now, aren't they? They are they are in their own right, and it is an ethos for development. And I don't think clubs. I think sometimes they just think, buy a load of players, hopefully they'll gel, and we'll get maybe success.
What an interview this has been. Nicky Forster, you've been an absolute star tonight, mate. Inspirational speaker. I'm inspired.
It's been
a pleasure. Been a pleasure, mate. Thanks for your time.
Show to remember that was.
Guys. You're welcome.
Really good.
Really, really, really apologetic for the sad issues we had at the beginning. It wasn't actually Chris Brown's.
All my friends, all my brilliant jokes as well. I got them out all earlier. Textbook of jokes.
Oh, Nick, I've got to say, your Brummie accent was spot on.
You're going to say it's terrible.
No, it was good.
You're doing it, go on.
Go on.
No, that's a wonder. That's a wonder.
Anyway, we're going to use it for a week.
I'm going to clip it.
Can you make sure you clip that one, mate? We've got Scarf Ladies Burt, we've got Dance doing Trevor Francis.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have Boy Take My Pie.
Fantastic.
Oh, Mark Adams, thank you very much for your input, and of course your robe.
Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Have a good week. Again.
We all know you work for the NHS. Stay safe, buddy. Right, and thanks for the tremendous work that you guys have done and are still doing, and I've got to do going forward. Well done, mate. Well done. Mr. Sheen, a.k.a. the old mate Paul Hipkins. Good night, my friend.
Good night, all. Keep right on, as always.
Hey. Mrs. Brown.
Good night. It's probably the worst one ever. That was. Hang on. That's better.
Honestly, I chip shop jokes earlier. My computer's crashed again, so I can't see the last of them. But I'm going to rewind them in a minute. But some of them were absolutely superb. Thank you so much for making me laugh tonight.
Yeah, one more for the road. What about Liam Fridgewell?
I think on that note, Nick. On that note.
That's good night, isn't it?
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. That's a message from Nicky Forster. Thank you very much.
Carl, thanks, guys. Really appreciate great stuff, and I will always be keeping an eye.
Cheers.
Thanks. Memories and 3 seasons. Can I tell you what? Boom, 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 boom. Get in. Especially that game at Grimsby when my missus got cold.
Let's go. Yeah, it was worth it. The divorce and the divorce was worth it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you'll see Steve Portman again one day with a pie, so you can have a bite.
Yeah, mate. If he offered me it, tell him I'd have a bite now.
Good night.
Anytime you're up in Brum, always come see us. Do whatever, ever. We'll meet you down the Blues one day. Good night. God bless. Take care and keep right on to the end of the road. Blues, Middlesbrough away Saturday. Good night. Now all you Blue boys know what we mean. We are the lads from the Tilton.